What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Matt Chat. My name is Kyle, and today I'm going to be giving you a guide to Australian Survivor versus the World. We're only about a month and a half away from when it's supposedly going to start airing, so if you don't have enough time to watch the necessary seasons, hopefully this video can give you a good picture of who the players are and how they play. For each player, we'll be going over the seasons they played, which other members of this cast they played with, as well as 3 traits about their personality and gameplay style, going in chronological order of the seasons. Now, I'm assuming that most of the people who are going to watch this are more familiar with the US players and maybe not so much with the international ones, so I'll avoid heavy spoilers for those seasons in case you want to go back and watch those. And I'll say this now, I have not watched Cassandra or Tommy seasons. I have no idea where to watch them, so unfortunately I can't talk about them in detail, but I will give a few thoughts about how I think they'll fit in with this cast. But with that, we'll start off with the Australia tribe, and first up is Luke. Luke first played in 2017, and then returned for the second Champions vs. Contenders season, where he played with Janine and David. He aligned with both of them, but is most known for his relationship with David. He also apparently is friends with Kirby, but I don't have much information about that. Luke was a pretty wild player. He would attempt to make moves just for the sake of it. He was a big fan of throwing rogue votes, trying to get other people to throw their votes, and just generally causing chaos. He was more refined in his second season, where he showed his ability to bond with different types of people. He still played hard strategically, but he also showed a more vulnerable personal side as well. Luke is generally considered to be one of the best characters in all of Australian Survivor, if not the best, so definitely expect some funny quotes and memorable confessionals from him. Next up is Sere, who also played in 2017. She was my winner pick for that season. Many fans, myself included, have long been awaiting Sere's return, so I'm very excited to see how she does this season. I'd describe Sere as a chameleon. She's a very adaptable player. If there's a big move to be made, she'll step out in front, but can also fade into the background when necessary. She was also good at repairing relationships. If she tried to turn on somebody, she could pull them back in to work with her. Her relationship with Luke was fascinating to watch throughout their time together. All that being said, though, I do think Sere could be a high variance player. I could easily see Sere making it to the end, and I could see a world where she goes home early. If she's not with a group of people that can forgive her for trying to turn against them or something, then she could be in trouble. And I do question some of her strategic decision making from her first season, so I'm interested to see if she's learned from that. Next up, we have Shaunie with her iconic dress, who is about to become a 4-time player. But surprisingly, she's only played with 2 of the people on this cast, that being David and All-Stars, who she worked against, and George in Heroes vs. Villains, who she was in an alliance with. The best word to describe Shaunie would be mischievous. She likes to have a lot of fun when she plays. I'd say her biggest strength is her social game, and she bonds closest with other social players like herself. She also likes to align with big targets to keep shields out in front of her. As I mentioned, she was in an alliance with George in Heroes vs. Villains. He was a big target that season. She also aligned with the big men on her tribe in her first season. But Shaunie herself is a big target as well. She's played more days than anyone here except Parvity, but I think Shaunie will do well again, and her and Parvity will definitely hit it off if they get together, so I expect another deep run from Shaunie on this season. Next up, we have Janine. She's only played 1 season, but she's played with 2 people on this cast, Luke and David. After Janine didn't come back for All-Stars, I thought her time had passed, so I'm pleasantly surprised to see her come back here. Janine's nickname was the Godmother, named such for her ruthless nature and commanding presence within her alliance. Janine was a strategic force, but I'd argue that her best ability was actually her social game. She was great at recruiting people to work with her, and even though she wasn't necessarily the person planning a lot of the votes, it was her influence and sway that made those moves happen. I honestly have no idea how Janine will fare with this cast. There's really no reason to get rid of her early, and to me she's the biggest wild card on the Australia tribe. Moving on to David, and I'd imagine most people have heard of David at this point. He played back-to-back seasons and is the most well-connected person on the cast, having played with 4 other people, the most noteworthy being his alliance with Parvity on season 2 of Deal or No Deal Island. David's style is being a bold, out-in-front player. He doesn't mind being the figurehead of an alliance. He wants all the glory or all the pain. I'd describe his gameplay as mostly straightforward. While he does have his moments of outside the box strategy and wild moves, he does kind of just like to build a huge alliance and run with it as far as he can. He also has a knack for getting idols, finding 4 of them across his 2 seasons. All of David's connections will probably serve him well. He's very good socially. I think he'll make the merge at least, and then we'll see where we go from there. Moving along, we have George. He's one of the more recent players. He's a big presence within the Survivor community, but I'm not sure how well connected he is to these specific players outside of Shaunie. George is the confessional king. He is a dominant presence on screen for as long as he's in the game. He's a master strategist, absolutely one of the best strategic players this game has ever seen, although many of the other top strategists are also on this cast. George is also an expert reader of people. He can tell who's lying to him or if somebody has an idol, which of course allows him to make the optimal decisions, something he does pretty much every vote. However, George has a reputation that precedes him. Just take a look at that idol tattooed on his chest. I think he's going to be a massive target right out of the gate, and I'm not sure if he'll be able to escape past the early days. Last but not least, on the Australia tribe, we have Kirby. Kirby is the most recent player, and she's the only person from this tribe who's never played with anyone before, although she does know Luke apparently from outside of the game. Kirby's lack of connections could either help her or hurt her. The others could just come together and vote her out as an easy vote. She might be fresh in people's minds. Titans vs. Rebels was the most recent season at the time of this season filming. But I think that there are way too many bigger personalities that will cause conflict, allowing Kirby to fly under the radar for a while. Kirby's a very methodical player. She's a long-term strategic thinker, making moves that she knows will affect her opponents in specific ways. And she's willing to work with anyone. If you wrote her name down 2 votes ago, doesn't matter. She'll work with you if it benefits her. She can also bring different groups of people together as well. Titans vs. Rebels was the most dynamic season of all time, and Kirby was a big reason for that. Alright, time to move on to the World Tribe, and starting it off is Sere. Sere has played 4 times before. This will be her 5th season of Survivor, and she's played many seasons of other reality shows as well. She's played with Parvity twice and Tony once. In fact, all 3 US players have played with each other at some point, but this is the first time they're all on the same season together. Sere is considered the best player to never win. She has an incredible body of work, and for one reason or another, she gets eliminated right before the end every time. She describes herself as the gangster with a smile. She looks nice and friendly, but she will cut anyone at any time. She's also known for coming up with inventive strategies, such as the 3-2-1 vote in Panama, and perhaps the most iconic move in Survivor history, Eric giving up his immunity necklace, which was Sere's idea. Sere makes it far in nearly every season she plays, and I could easily see that happening here too. She's not good at challenges, but I really doubt that's going to come into play this season, so I think she makes merge for sure. Next up is Parvity, and I mean, who doesn't know Parvity at this point? Like Sere, this will be her 5th season. She's been on other shows as well, including Deal or No Deal Island, where she played with David. Parvity is nicknamed the Black Widow, after her famous Black Widow Brigade alliance from Survivor Micronesia. She is a social expert. She just has an air about her that draws people in. Parvity absolutely changed the game. She is the reason why all women alliances are so feared in reality TV today. The Black Widow Brigade was so successful that its impact is still heavily felt to this day. Furthermore, any young, attractive woman is often targeted early and referred to as Parvity 2.0. You don't have an impact like that unless you have some serious skills, and we'll see if Parvity's Ultra Legend status helps her or hurts her this season. Next up, another absolute legend and my personal favorite player, we have Tony. Tony's played 3 times, and even though he's technically played with both Sere and Parvity, he's never actually been on a tribe with either of them before. Tony is the king of Survivor. He's the only 2-time winner besides Sandra, so he's gonna have a huge target right off the bat. I honestly don't have high hopes for Tony this season. He's extremely high energy. He stays up all day and all night running around. He's a fast talker. People may find him fun enough to be around, to keep him around for a while, but I expect this to be a strategy heavy season where that kind of stuff doesn't matter so much. Tony is perhaps the most fluid player of all time. He flips back and forth, creating new voting blocks nearly every round, making him an entertaining player to watch. But we'll see if he gets the chance to do that. My prediction is that Tony is voted out at the first tribal council he goes to. Moving on, we have the 4 players who are the only representatives from their countries, and first is Lisa. I've talked about Lisa before in my New Zealand player rankings if you want a more in-depth look at her game. Lisa is a wolf in sheep's clothing. She looks like an average middle-aged woman, but she is an absolute killer. She is not afraid to make any move or turn on anyone she has to. She is a social manipulator. She's able to break other alliances apart and pull people in to work with her instead. One of Lisa's biggest strengths is her timing. She won't hesitate to make a big play when it's the right time, but she will also play more straightforwardly if the situation calls for it. In short, Lisa pretty much always makes the right decision. Whether or not Lisa will have the sway to execute those decisions and make the move she wants, we'll have to see. My prediction is that Lisa will try to bring together the outsiders and lead the charge to take control of the World Tribe. Next up is Rob from Survivor South Africa Island of Secrets. Like Lisa, he hasn't played with anyone before, so I could see those two being a power duo early on. Now, if Lisa was a wolf in sheep's clothing, Rob is a wolf in wolf's clothing, as Sam Phelan says. He looks like a big strong threat, and he is a big strong threat. He's a beast at challenges, he's very strong physically, but there's way more to his game than that. He is a very active social player. I describe him as a mister, a term that originated about Dan Giesling from Big Brother, where they can just put a mist on people to get them to do whatever they want. That's what Rob does. He leaves conversations with everybody wanting to work with him. We'll see how effective that is with a cast like this, who really know what they're doing, but I think Rob can go very far. He's one of the people I'm most excited to watch this season. Now for Cassandra. As I said, I've never seen her play, but just from the looks of her, she looks like she could be a big strategic threat. She's unconnected and unknown, so I could easily see everyone ganging up on her because of that. If the World Tribe doesn't target Tony, I predict Cassandra would be the first person voted out from this tribe. And for Tommy, he's also a big unknown, but from the looks of him, he seems like he could bring a fun, jovial energy to downplay his threat level and allow him to slip under the radar. I mean, we know him and Cassandra have to be great players. They wouldn't be here if they weren't great players. But Tommy's appearance just leads me to believe he can slide all the way to Final 4 or 5, honestly. But I really have no idea what to expect from either one of them. I could be totally wrong. But there you go. That is my guide to Australian Survivor versus the World. I hope this video gets you prepared enough for the season ahead and gives you enough information about the players. And before I end this, this is a season that a lot of people have been clamoring for a long time. I want to mention a few players who I thought would be on a season like this that aren't here. First and foremost is Nick Iadanza, who did Australian Survivor coverage for Rob Has a Podcast for many years, serving as an ambassador and bringing the show to more American viewers. Harry is another massive fan who I would have loved to see, although his time has probably passed now. And if you're gonna only pick 3 men to represent Australian Survivor, these are the 3, George, David, and Luke. Those are the 3 you're gonna pick, and you're not gonna think twice about it. Haley is another huge name. I'm sure she was asked, but likely turned it down. Palesa from Survivor South Africa would have been a good inclusion if the cast were bigger. She's a fan favorite. JT from the US and Zen Hen from Australia were 2 players that I've always wanted to see go head-to-head, watching them and seeing who makes the most insane moves. And then probably the person I'm most surprised isn't here is Dino from South Africa. He's a popular player from the most recent season who's a huge super fan. I thought he'd be perfect for this season. But anyway, that's all for me. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you want, and I'll see you next time.